What's up, Spud Nation? Week 2 fantasy football action coming right at you here at sportscoach.com. Thanks for stopping in. Hopefully, we all survived week 1 with victories. Lots and lots of players not showing up for us. But, hey, week 2, it's another week. Let's rebound. Let's get that W. You guys know where to get at me. I have a Twitter handle at the Sports Couch. My website, sportscoach.com. You find me on YouTube, leave comments, I answer them. My email, craig@sportscoach.com. There you go, folks. A lot of avenues to get at me. Find me. Let's do this. Starting quarterbacks. All right, here we go. Week 2. I'm going Drew Brees, number 1, taking on Tampa. Always does well versus Tampa. Tampa's pass D a little bit more improved with Revis Island, but the Saints, they need to get out there. They need to fire the ball, and that's what they're going to do. Peyton Manning coming off that 7-touchdown game. Denver looked amazing. Peyton Manning is the engine that drives that team. Manning should be right there, 1 or 2 most of the season. Aaron Rodgers taking on Washington, should tear them apart. Number 4, Cam Newton. Going to beat Buffalo with his legs and his arm. Newton, there you go. And rounding out the top 5, Tom Brady. Weapons are down a little bit this year, but it's Tom Brady, so what are you going to do? Number 6, Colin Kaepernick taking on a very stingy Seattle defense. Kaepernick looked amazing. Looks like he could crack himself into the top 5 overall this year. Stafford, Matt Ryan, Michael Vick, welcome to the top 10. That offense looked fun, looked spectacular. Just a matter of time before Vick gets injured, though. And rounding out the top 10, Tony Romo. Number 11, Carson Palmer taking on Detroit. Palmer looked good. Has Larry Fitzgerald, a lot of weapons. Palmer, nice job. Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton, Josh Freeman. Josh Freeman, a lot of people are down on him. He's taking on a Saints defense that is very susceptible to the pass. RG3 taking on Green Bay at number 16. Matt Schaub taking on a terrible Titan team. Terrell Pryor cracks his way into the top 20. Did a fantastic job last week running, a surprisingly good job passing, and he's taking on the Jaguars, so he should have plenty of opportunity. Sam Bradford, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Jay Cutler, Alex Smith, and Geno Smith round out the top 24. Running backs, AP, LaShawn McCoy, number 2. That offense is ridiculous, and McCoy looked fantastic. I like what he did. McCoy was in my top 5 preseason. He looks like he could be a fantasy stud this year. Doug Martin, number 3. Arian Foster, Reggie Bush. Yes, Reggie Bush takes a dramatic jump into the top 5 this week, but why wouldn't he? How can you take that away from him? Reggie Bush would have had 4 touchdowns if he wouldn't have tripped at the 1-yard line. 4 touchdowns in week 1 would have been sick. We'll take 2, though, Reggie Bush owners. He can do it all. Running it, catching it. Reggie Bush, as long as he stays healthy, could have a humongous year for Detroit. Stephen Ridley. Yes, that's right. Stephen Ridley at number 6. Vereen getting injured. Amendola not playing in the game. The Jets not being the greatest team. Tom Brady not having 100 weapons. I like Ridley still. The hoodie is all about proving points, and he proved it last week. Benching Ridley after a fumble for the entire game. Ridley, still the best running back on that team, should put up big numbers this week. Alfred Morris, Ray Rice, Tony Richardson, and Marshawn Lynch. Let me go back. Trent Richardson. Sorry, little retro moment there. Trent Richardson at number 9. Number 10, Marshawn Lynch. Jamal Charles drops out of the top 10. Questions about the injury. It looks like he will play and should be fine. So keep an eye on that, Jamal Charles owners. Darren McFadden taking on Jacksonville should run crazy. Matt Forte, Maurice Jones-Drew taking on Oakland. Again, a favorable matchup, but teams stack the box with all they have to stop Maurice Jones-Drew because that's all their offense has. CJ Spiller drops out of the top 5 down to number 15. He did a crazy timeshare last week. Spiller had 22, Fred Jackson had 17. That's way too much of a 50-50 cut for me. Spiller drops from running back 1 to running back 2 material. Steven Jackson, Frank Gore, Darren Sproles, Daryl Richardson, Chris Johnson round out the top 20. DeMarco Murray, Eddie Lacy, Ryan Matthews, D'Angelo Williams taking on Buffalo. Give him a look. And nice flex play for you guys who have D'Angelo Williams out there. Monty Ball. Yeah, Monty Ball, 8 carries, hardly played. He's a flex play at best this week. Guys, he's still the best looking running back on that team. His 8 carries, they used him around the goal line. He was patient. He waited for his blockers. He looked like a legit running back in the NFL. Give it a week or two, Monty Ball is going to be a big-time fantasy player on that offense. David Wilson, apparently he's still the guy. The signing of Brandon Jacobs today doesn't really scare David Wilson owners that much, but the man's got to hold on to the ball or he will be sitting on the sideline. Green Ellis, Joique Bell, give him a look. He's a free agent in a lot of leagues. Joique Bell, not only can he catch the ball, but he appears to be the goal line guy in Detroit. Ben Tate, still sharing time with Arian Foster. Arian Foster, as we figured, would take over the majority of those carries. Fred Jackson works his way into fantasy relevance again with that split with C.J. Spiller. Rashard Mendenhall, Vic Ballard. If you have any of these guys towards the end and you're playing them, good luck to you. Vic Ballard, Ahmad Bradshaw, Daniel Thomas, Bilal Powell, Giovanni Bernard, Pierre Thomas, Mark Ingram, Isaac Redmond, Chris Ivory round out the top 40. Lamar Miller is a name I didn't mention. He's got to get dropped in like the 30 range. 10 carries, 3 yards. He's sharing time with Daniel Thomas. All those people that are really high on Lamar Miller and that went out and drafted him early, yuck. Good luck, guys. You're going to have to do some scrambling because Miller did not look like an NFL running back in week 1. Wide receivers, Calvin leading the charge at number 1, A.J. Green number 2, Demaryius Thomas number 3. That Broncos receiving core is going to be a revolving door, but for the time being, Demaryius Thomas is locked in as the top Bronco wide receiver. Brandon Marshall, Dez Bryant, Larry Fitzgerald taking on Detroit, looked fantastic. Larry Fitzgerald is back and relevant. Julio Jones, Randall Cobb, Andre Johnson, and Wes Welker round out the top 10. Reggie Wayne, Colston, Jordy Nelson, Vincent Jackson, Roddy White, Victor Cruz, Deshaun Jackson, Dwayne Bowe, Eric Decker, and Kenbrell Tompkins. A lot of people are running out going crazy picking up Julian Edelman for the Patriots, especially with Amendola being out. I really like Tompkins. He had 14 targets last week. I know his stat line wasn't crazy, but 14 targets with Tom Brady throwing you the ball. And now your number 1 receiver going down. Tompkins has great fantasy value. So if he's a free agent, he's a nice pickup this week. Anquan Boldin coming off that huge game. I'm still not a believer. All you that have Anquan Boldin, touche. Great job. Well done. Flex play this week. He's got a tough matchup, and we'll see. Vernon Davis is still the number 1 receiver on that team. Steve Smith, Mike Williams, Hakeem Nicks, Julian Edelman. Again, a free agent. Not a bad pickup this week with Amendola being injured. Cecil Shorts, Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, Ruben Randall. Ruben Randall looked really good as the number 3 for the Giants this week. So that should continue as he gets more and more comfortable with Eli Manning. Antonio Brown, Miles Austin, Vincent Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Tavon Austin, Pierre Garçon, Nate Burleson, Mohamed Sanu, Sidney Rice, Doug Baldwin, Mike Wallace, Brian Hartline, Malcolm Floyd, T.Y. Hilton, Lance Moore, Chris Gibbons, Cordero Patterson, Jerome Simpson, and James Jones from Green Bay. Tight ends. wow, did they explode in week 1. Let's see if they can continue that wonderful progress. My goodness, they are producing like crazy. Jimmy Graham, number 1. Jared Cook, number 2. Probably the biggest surprise for me. I've heard so many good things about Jared Cook, and he produced like crazy in week 1. Jason Witten, Jordan Cameron, Vernon Davis. There's the top 5. All you that I steered towards Zach Sudfeld, I apologize. I bought in to what was supposed to be the next Gronk, a guy getting all the snaps in the world, filling in, being Tom Brady's top dog, and then when Gronk getting back, being Aaron Hernandez. It's a mistake. It happens. He was on all my teams. He is now off all my teams. Sudfeld is not going to be fantasy relevant. Gronk should be back week 3. It doesn't appear they're going to use him like Aaron Hernandez. So all of you that have Sudfeld, please find a different plan. There's got to be a free agent out there, maybe a Dallas Clark. Someone who's out there making catches and playing the majority of the snaps you want to go pick up. And the Sudfeld experiment is over after week 1. Number 6, Tony Gonzalez. 7, Julius Thomas. Number 8, Owen Daniels. 9, Greg Olsen. And Antonio Gates round out the top 10. Jermichael Finley, Brent Selleck, Martellus Bennett, Dallas Clark, who I mentioned earlier. He's a free agent in a lot of leagues. He's Baltimore's tight end. Go pick him up. He looked fantasy relevant. He brings some value to your team. Kyle Rudolph, Brandon Myers, Jermaine Gresham, Fred Davis, Brandon Pettigrew, Zach Miller, Dwayne Allen, Delaney Walker, Scott Chandler, and Mercedes Lewis. There you go, Spud Nation. Week 2. Let's hope the studs turn it around, show a little rebound, a little pep in their step. That's what we drafted these guys top 10 for. Don't panic. It's 1 week. Hold on to your guys. Your studs will come around. Marshawn Lynch, Trent Richardson. Your guys that you are banking on are going to come through in a major way. So there you go. You want to get at me? Email Craig@thesportscoach.com. Find me on YouTube, my website, anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you guys want me, I'm there. Hit me up. I'll help you guys get that dub for week 2. All right, Spud Nation. Till next time, we're out.